Hayley Gardner. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner and I run a Chinese herbal medicinary that does fulfillment for other acupuncture clinics and practitioner and patient herbal consulting. We are located in Central Florida, here just north of St. Petersburg. I'm here in my pharmacy and kind of showing you a little bit of what I've got going on back here.
Exciting. So tell us a little bit about your practice back before you had started working with us initially, before the six-figure speaking makeover mentorship. Tell us a little bit about what was going on back then and what was the most frustrating thing for you back then.
Yeah, so I first started working with Chen and the Introverted Visionaries a couple years ago. I did the six-figure speaking mentorship makeover. And prior to that, I was just lost. I had a really great idea and a lot of Chinese medicine practitioners that were asking me for my help formulating herbal formulas for their patients. I had a really great product that they were asking me for, a concentrated herbal decoction. So it's just a kind of innovative delivery format for Chinese medicine that works really great clinically and practitioners were really excited about. I was really excited about. I had been using it in my personal practice for many, many years. And over time, it had just evolved where I was helping a lot of other Chinese medicine practitioners that were a little bit less fluent in herbal prescribing, in diagnosing when it comes to kind of translating the Chinese medicine diagnosis to an herbal formula and herbal treatment plan. So I was doing a lot of this kind of consulting with practitioner work, but I had no structure to what I was doing. I had no framework. And I was just really kind of figuring it out one day at a time. I had decided at that point that I needed to make space for this practice for this kind of herbal side of my practice by closing down my acupuncture side. So I had walked away from my acupuncture clinic at that time and decided to focus solely on doing the herbal consulting aspect for practitioners. And I just didn't know how to get started from there because it was just a really big transition. I was just kind of like, I know I have this thing that can work. I'm really excited about it. I want to do it. I have no idea how to go from where I am now, which was just a big confusing mess of an idea to income.
What got you so interested in doing this?
I think ultimately I've just always been in love with herbal medicine, and it's been a huge help for me personally on my health journey. Ever since I was a teenager, I've relied on Chinese herbal medicine, and my mentor was a doctor from Taiwan that I studied with for about 10 years before he passed away. And he just did things the old fashioned way. And he instilled in me this very, very strong understanding of the clinical power of Chinese herbal medicine when adhered to the traditional principles. And it's incredible. And I have seen over the years through my practice, and I've always kind of worked in group practices. I've had other acupuncturists that have rented space for me at my clinic, things like that. And I've always maintained a full pharmacy and have had other practitioners and my colleagues would just purchase herbs from me at my pharmacy, that kind of thing. Because not everybody wants to maintain the whole pharmacy. Not everybody is fluent, like I said, in prescribing and diagnosing herbal treatment plans. It just sort of naturally evolved. I started having a lot of fun with it and realizing that herbs are being missed out on in a clinically effective way. 70% of the acupuncturists out there, they're doing amazing work with acupuncture, nutrition, maybe they're prescribing like vitamins and nutraceuticals, things like that, but they're not using herbs. And they're definitely not using customized herbal medicine. And I just started feeling like we could get such better treatment outcomes for our patients as a whole and just like help get people's health and balance kind of elevated if we just pulled this traditional piece back in, but it feels really inaccessible to people and to practitioners. And I just felt like I was uniquely suited to kind of make it a little bit more available if I could just get the business like nuts and bolts of it together to actually make it work.
I remember you telling me about how like you were into herbs pretty young, weren't you? Didn't I somehow had that impression of you. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I went through some really difficult things in my family, and I was on a lot of anti-anxiety and anti-depression medication for insomnia, all these different just kind of mental health things that had kind of cascaded after some family members died, and I didn't really have the support that I needed. That's kind of the way that it was dealt with, just a lot of medication. And I just knew that that wasn't working for me. And I started just through, I don't know, I think it was just fate, honestly. One of my teachers in high school was really into acupuncture. She had previously been a medical doctor who was like, the system doesn't work for me. I want to teach high school kids about holistic medicine. And so she started just kind of preaching about Chinese medicine and acupuncture. It was like a health class that we were taking. And she got me going to the local acupuncture college with her. And I got off of all of the medications I was on. I got myself in balance. I felt strong and capable, and, just realized, oh my gosh, like, this is a whole new world. If I can do this, like in this relatively short period of time, going from here to where I am now, like, this is how I want to leave my mark on the world. This is how I want to help people, like, be better. Like, I was just so inspired. I wanted to change the world. I thought it was incredible. And so from there, over the next couple of years through high school, I sought out a doctor that I could do an internship with. And that's how I found my first teacher, the Taiwanese doctor I was telling you about. And I started studying with him when I was 16 and didn't stop until he moved back to Taiwan, and I wasn't able to go with him, and he passed away shortly thereafter. But it was a incredible blessing to have him in my life and have that kind of just really powerful start to this type of, study.
Yeah, that's amazing. As you were making the decision to be a part of the six-figure speaking makeover mentorship, how did you feel? Any hesitation?
Oh yeah, I was definitely hesitating. I didn't really have an income at that point. I was kind of living on savings that I had, cultivated from my previous practice. And I was just like, okay, I need this time available to me so that I can build this new version of my business. So I kind of have to stop having an income because it's so time consuming to run an acupuncture practice. Like, in order to change this over, I really had to just push full stop on that. So I didn't have an income, and I was really like making an investment to get the structure and like help that I needed to create the business was terrifying, frankly. I think there was a lot of fear coming up for me around like, well, is it worth it? Is this really what I need? Is it better to just save and figure it out on my own? I hemmed and hawed about it for a long time. And ultimately, I finally, was able to kind of step into my power and step into that choice. And I am very grateful that I did, because I don't honestly know that I would have been able to figure out the sort of nuts and bolts of what needs to go into building a business in making it flow harmoniously so that it's not just such a huge amount of physical, emotional, like intellectual labor for me every day. It runs a little bit more smoothly. So I'm not burning out in order to make my offering to the world. I'm able to support myself energetically in this very aligned way while also doing my work that I love to do. That was like, I think the biggest thing that you guys were able to really help me put in place, or just like how to automate a lot of the like little things in the background that I never would have really even thought of, and just get them off my plate, how to ask for help, how to reach out there and communicate my offering to the practitioners that I want to work with, how to get really clear on how to just describe what I am doing in the first place, because it's a little bit of an off the beaten path type offering that I have. And I got to practice speaking about that and figure out how to get in front of the practitioners that I need to speak to in order to pull new clients in. It was just this turning point from I felt really scared and it was all about just like fear of spending money, to realizing that like that part just doesn't matter. It's not the money spending that's causing this to be stuck. It's that I don't have the systems in place, and I don't currently have the knowledge of how to put those systems in place, or even what those systems are to make it successful. And that's what the mentorship was really able to help me do.
You're pretty successful in your acupuncture practice, right?
Yeah, I ran a practice in Portland, Oregon for many years, and it was very successful. I had a full client load. I wasn't taking new patients anymore for a long time. And then right before I worked with you guys, I had moved to New Orleans and was working out of New Orleans for about 3 or 4 years before kind of making this transition. And same thing, it was a busy practice. I was close to new patients. I was full and starting to just kind of daydream about herbs and, ready to make that switch.
During the six-figure speaking makeover mentorship, what changed for you?
I realized that I'm not actually terrified of public speaking. That was a huge thing. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing in the world to do by any means, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. I can do it. And there's like a little part of me that almost kind of enjoys it now. Like it's not, I feel like more and more practice, like I'll get to a point where those last little like jitters kind of fade away, but it's fine. It's just a thing to do. I don't stress about it like I used to.
What is it like to have the done for you templates and scripts and frameworks?
Oh, those are super helpful because especially in the beginning, I think I was just like, no, I don't public speak. I don't do that. I'm an introvert. I don't want to be out there and be vulnerable in front of, whoever's watching. And part of that is like trying to keep your thoughts straight in the face of all this anxiety that is just kind of coming up and clouding your mind. So for me, it would be like, I'd lose my place and I'd just go back to it and be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm saying. That's all we're doing. It's okay. I've got it all like right here. It just made it easy. It made it easy to kind of follow along without tripping up so much. And the more and more I did that, the more it was just like, it's just a worksheet to fill out. Then you go say some things to people and it's fine.
What made you decide to be part of the Introverted Visionaries Mastermind?
I really needed to get clear with myself about like my feelings about money and what I wanted this business to be and what I wanted my life to look like. And ultimately, when I decided, yeah, I want to go all in, like I want this business to be successful. This is how I want to conduct my professional life. It was an easy decision to make. Like I knew it would pay off and it absolutely did. I think any hesitation for me about the mentorship was just kind of around things like personal things that were going on in my life that I wasn't sure I was going to have the time and space to really dedicate myself to it. But ultimately, I just made it work and it worked out the way I needed it to.
What was it like to look at your practice from the perspective of a 10x perspective?
Humbling and really interesting. I think the first time I've ever done any type of real like 10x exercises or visualizing or anything like that is with working with you. I've never really thought that far into the future in that specific of a way before. I'm very much just kind of like a let's get through what's happening right now sort of person. I guess it is still a little bit hard for me, but it's possible. Like in the beginning, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I have no idea. And I think the more comfortable that I got working with you guys and just kind of realizing that if I just follow the steps, like one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, whatever I imagine, I can get to that place. And you guys sort of have the roadmap there for me. The reason I wasn't imagining this like 10x vision or this really like incredible herbal business success end game was just that I didn't know how to like put those stepping stones in place to get there. So it felt impossible. And once I got to kind of trust the process and see that those stepping stones were laid out for me, it felt more possible to just imagine and like dream and really want. Like I was protecting myself from not being able to achieve what I wanted by not wanting it. And I don't do that anymore.
Powerful shift. I love it. That's amazing. What would you say like you're most excited about that has changed for you?
I've got a couple of really awesome employees that are just a dream to work with. And I'm having a really fun time right now building this community around herbal medicine. And for a long time, because I've moved around a fair amount over the last 15 years, and I have this very broad community because of it. And like, I just bought a house here. I'm here to stay. This is where I want to be. And I'm really enjoying just like kind of dredging my roots deep into this community and pulling in the people that I need to really make my life feel expansive and have my business feel effective and helpful and like a valuable service to the community that I'm in. We still, of course, work with people all over, but it's feeling good to just pull in more of these local connections. Just in the last couple of weeks, like I've had a couple of moments where I've been like, oh my gosh, I have more to do in this amount of days than is absolutely possible. Like there's no way this is going to happen. And I start to get, just kind of into old like stress patterns about like, I got to do everything myself and all of this. And there have just been a few moments where I've either met someone or someone has like showed up or a practitioner has just called and been like, hey, can I come shadow you in the pharmacy today? I want to learn more about da 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 da. And the help has just been there and people just supporting our mission and wanting to just kind of offer their energy to help us move along. And it's just this really cool thing of like, I'm not hiding. I'm not afraid to kind of put myself out there and show people what I'm doing and why and how this works and how it can help them. So people are bringing me that energy back, and it's just making it like all the more possible to move forward and grow.
Super exciting. What's your vision for the business at this point in time that you're excited about?
So my vision for the next step is we are currently working on a new practitioner onboarding website that really just very clearly presents all of our offerings to Chinese medicine practitioners and how we can help them in kind of cultivating and growing the herbal aspect of their practices without putting more time and effort and stress into that. The goal is to help them improve their patient outcomes and to really build more herbal medicine into their practice without spending more time and energy to do it. And I'm excited to have this new kind of web presence that just clearly outlines all of that. We've got a photo shoot happening at the end of this week to get some photos to go up there that really showcase our new space and just demonstrate everything visually that we've got going on. And my next step after that is I want to host a couple Chinese medicine, herbal medicine talks at the pharmacy for local practitioners and just invite people in to come see the space, to learn about what we're doing and why we're doing it, how we approach herbs. And my hope is to either video or live stream or something like that so practitioners elsewhere can join in too. But yeah, just really pulling more professionals in and working together.
Your services and like the range of services that you have.
So the different services that we offer, there's kind of two sides to the practice right now. I've got my direct to patient consulting that I do. I see a handful of patients each week and do herbal medicine consultations with them, set them up with herbal treatment plans for a variety of different conditions and help them get their health back on track. And then I have the other side of it that I'm trying to develop more strongly right now. This is where like my passion really lies. And that side is my direct to practitioner work that I'm doing. And so you can see all of these are all single herb concentrated decoctions. So what we do here is we take our raw herbs and we cook them and we decoct them in a traditional hot water extraction. And then we basically reduce them down to a tiny amount and are helping it to just kind of be more palatable for patients, easier for practitioners to get their patients to take potent herbal medicine rather than expecting them to like go home and do the whole boiling process and cook everything and just go through all that labor themselves. We're doing all that for you as a practitioner. So herbalists or acupuncturists use our online portal. We have this whole online practice management herbal software system that's really awesome. And they'll input their formulas that they want for their patients. We fulfill them, private label them, put a nice professional pharmacy label on there, and we ship it off to either the practitioner's office or to the patient directly. So that's one side of what we do. The other service that we offer Chinese medicine practitioners is practitioner consulting with their patients. So what that looks like is Chinese medicine practitioners that are interested in learning more about clinical herbal medicine, but don't necessarily have that skill set honed in just yet. they will fill out a form with all of the treatment room information that I need from their patient and send that in to me. And then I will work directly with that practitioner using that patient as a case study. And we'll go over all the information that is needed in order to develop an herbal treatment plan. And I provide their acupuncturist with everything that they need to know, with the formula, with the treatment plan, kind of what to keep an eye out for, what the Chinese medicine diagnosis is, how to really communicate the imbalance and the treatment to their patient. And I just give them a play-by-play of what this herbal process is going to look like for their patient's healing. And it's just a really cool way to approach this because it's helping to train acupuncturists to be more comfortable and confident using herbal medicine in their practice with their own patients. And it's like, going to school to become a stronger clinical herbalist, but using your own patients that are currently asking you for help as your case studies rather than pretend textbook people. And also you have me in your corner, an experienced herbalist that's making sure that everything that's happening is safe. If they have questions, if they have concerns along the way, I'm like in their ear in the treatment room, just answering those questions for them and helping them really get their herbal chops. So, but that's what we do.
Unique offering, right? Service offering that you offer. Tell everyone like your next level vision of this though, like, or you mentioned you would love for it to be even more with like the herbal trainings for practitioners. Tell everyone a little bit about that.
Yeah, the next level that I'd really like to take this business to is to be able to offer CEUs to practitioners. I want to have a library of videos and education around different kind of conditions, different topics that they can find really relevant in their day-to-day and is really accessible. I'm working on having a mentorship program that is a membership-based type platform where I'll have a handful of practitioners that are under my wing and are doing this in a really structured, basically everything I was just describing about me helping with them with their patients, using them as clinical case studies to help them get better now, but also training the practitioner at the same time. It's just a more systemized way of going about doing that. I'll have group calls where I'm working with practitioners, going through all these herbal case studies and herbal concerns, roundtable type things. I'm working on creating a membership platform so that I can be in that teaching role to a handful of practitioners at the same time, rather than only doing one-on-ones, to really make it more efficient for everybody. And that was something that I learned through the membership, or that was something I learned through the mentorship with you also, is just the value of that group learning and working together.
Awesome. What's been your favorite part of the mastermind experience?
It was just like the results, just watching things unlock that I was just kind of really stuck on for a long time. I feel like watching my own emotions around income and money and business, and watching all of that just get much healthier and much more in balance so that my business can actually thrive and grow. Learning to kind of get out of my own way when I need to, and just seeing like where I was keeping myself stuck with a lot of limiting beliefs. I enjoyed meeting a lot of colleagues and just getting a lot of feedback from other acupuncturists that weren't necessarily my clients was really helpful. And some of them actually became my clients, which was also really great. I think my favorite part is just that I was able to level my business up into this new space and into just a way more stable platform where I'm not like feeling like I'm scrambling every day just to keep it going. Like it's flowing. Like there's momentum that if I take a break, it's okay. Like it's good.
Such a good feeling, huh? How was this experience different from other business trainings or things that you've been a part of in the past?
The mastermind was different than other business trainings that I've been a part of in the past, in that it was a lot more consistent and a much more long-term kind of process. I did the mastermind for a full year and definitely showed up as consistently as I could for it. I think in the past, things were just very poor fits. I don't know. I just never really found any kind of business training that I enjoyed or felt like I got that much out of. I always felt like I was kind of the odd man out in the room. I didn't really have the same attitude or same like emotional makeup as the other people that were in there that were ready to go, scream from the mountaintops about whatever it is they're offering. I think there was a much more kind of aggressive attitude in other aggressive, like about marketing and that kind of thing in other business trainings that I'd stepped into in the past. And I don't know, I just kind of gave up before it even got off the ground because I just was like, this isn't for me. I don't really know. I'm not going to do that. They're not speaking to me. This is for somebody else. And I felt like I was at home in this mentorship, this mastermind. Like, I think everybody sort of felt that way. And because of that, we kind of created this, I don't know, just group culture of like being really kind to each other and supportive and getting our questions answered and figuring out how to work through challenges. I don't know, just in a much gentler energy that just felt comfortable and sustainable to me,
So happy to. If you knew then what you know now, what advice would you give?
I think that I would just tell myself to breathe into it and to just take it one step at a time and to trust the process. It's just really about trusting the process. If I start to feel anxious about like the end goal, just like bring it back to tangible steps that I can take now and trust that the people I'm turning to for help have the answer as to the best next step. And that's all I really need to worry about right now. And the rest will work itself out,
What would you say to someone who might be on the fence?
I would say it's a huge commitment and it feels super scary. And I totally get that. But if you're on the fence about joining the mastermind and you feel like it might be a helpful thing for you, if you ended up here and you're at the point where you're trying to make that decision, it probably is the right thing for you. And you're just getting in your own way. And you're going to learn to kind of untangle that. And that's part of the process. Like if you're worried about it, it's because you need this. You should just do it.
Congratulations and for all that's happened, and looking forward to even more exciting times ahead. So thank you so much for being here today. And for those of you who might be in a place in your practice where you feel like you're at a plateau or you just feel this pull that there's something bigger on the other side of what you're currently experiencing with your practice, then feel free to reach out to us at introvertedvisionary.com and book in for a free chat, and happy to see how we can help you grow faster and with less stress too. So thanks again for being here today, and until next time.